Hey guys, on this page we're going to talk about the difference in elements and compounds. So if you look at your periodic table, you'll see that it's the periodic table of elements. So if we look at the difference between elements and compounds, that means we are looking at the differences between certain elements that can't be broken down and then compounds that are made up of more than one elements. So let's see what we mean by this. So if we're looking at the periodic table, each of these is an element. We have an element called hydrogen, an element called lithium, an element called sodium. Okay, so each of these is an element. So if we want to have a compound, that's when we start combining elements, like your table salt, sodium and chlorine. So notice that the element it always starts with a capital letter and then goes to a lowercase letter if there's two. So whenever you see a capital letter, you know that's the start of another element. So if we had S and O, they're both capitalized, we know that was two different elements. If we had, look right here, this is a really good example. See how cobalt has a capital C and a lowercase o? That means it is one element because we don't have another capital letter. But if we had capital C, capital O, that would mean we had two elements, carbon and oxygen. So right here, what we're going to do, it says an element or compound. Now, I'm going to go over this with you, so be sure you pause this video and type it in as we go. Pure substances that cannot be broken down into simpler substances are elements. They are the most basic we can go. Elements are pure substances that cannot be broken down any simpler. And then compounds are pure substances that can be broken down. All right, so what we want to do is we want to drag these down at the bottom to our Venn diagram to say if they are pure substances or compounds. So a pure substance is going to be, well, actually, see right here in our definition, pure substances that can, pure substances that can't. So pure substances are going to be in the middle. So we know our elements are only made of one. So made of two or more substances would be our compound. The simplest substance would be our element. And then carbon, we notice just one capital letter, that's an element. Then I see NaCl right here. Capital N, capital C. That means I've got two elements there combined together. That's a compound. Now, look at this one, capital H, lowercase e. That means we've got helium, one element. And then capital S, capital O, two elements, sulfur and oxygen, combined together. Okay, so that is the difference between an element and a compound.